Hello, viewers. Welcome to MBTV Weekly Property News Roundup. We bring to you top 5 developments from Indian real estate space, which is going to have a lasting impact on you as a consumer. I'm Prasun Kumar, Marketing Head of Magicbricks, and with me is Jayashree Kurup, Senior Real Estate Journalist and Editor-in-Chief of MBTV. Welcome, Jayashree.
Thanks, Prasun.
So, Jayashree, the Prime Minister made a very, very important statement recently, and that's the first thing I would want to pick up, where he said that there was a trust deficit between developers or builders and home buyers, and which is why RERA was brought in. And he expects RERA to be that gap, the bridge that kind of helps consumers and builders come together and move forward together. So, given that RERA has been very, very active, we have seen a lot of state RERAs doing some commendable work over there. How important do you think is this statement of Prime Minister and making it very clear that RERA as a body was constituted to bridge this trust deficit?
Actually, it's a very important statement, and government push to RERA is absolutely required right now. And let's remain on RERA for a couple of minutes because it's an important thing. RERA regulatory authorities have been doing a lot of good work. Some regulatory authorities more than others. In Haryana, for instance, a body of builders went and challenged the RERA, the very RERA concept of RERA, in the High Court.
Yeah.
That much period, those 2 months or 3 months or whatever it took to get that order, the RERA had to be in limbo because the court, it was sub judice. Now what's happened is it was cleared by the High Court. The RERA has been giving some very, very good judgments, and again they've gone to the Supreme Court. Now I don't think they will win against that RERA is not applicable. But the fact is that they slowed down the justice process, and RERA was a Consumer Protection Act. So I think with a strong statement from the Prime Minister and the powers that be, that RERA is here to stay, and RERA is going to, it needs a little more teeth. It needs a little more, they should be able to execute their orders better and so on. Now, all this means that the entire RERA process, it's a new law. It's finding its feet. But the problems on the ground are so huge that we need to, they need to pick up the baton and run. And that process is getting slowed down at many places.
No, absolutely. And you do see that RERA has brought in definitely certain amount of transparency and accountability into the sector.
Yeah.
And consumers have also seen that. And a lot of RERAs, as you rightly mentioned, some of the state RERA regulators who have been very, very proactive on the matter, have also been passing judgments and giving relief to either party, depending on what the case has been. So,
we've actually seen more units on the ground in the last 3 years than we've seen in probably the last 15.
Oh, absolutely. There's so many stuck projects which are going towards now, at least moving forward towards completion. So yes, more power to RERA, and we have always been advocating that RERA should also get some judicial powers, in the sense that its judgment should have some teeth, and that is much desired. And I think the time is to strengthen RERA more rather than questioning it through various legislations.
Yeah.
So moving forward, Jayashree, this year has also been an year of cheap credit as far as property market is concerned, and the home loan rates have been at one of their lowest in more than a decade at least. And now that RBI has decided to keep the repo rate unchanged, this period of cheap credit is likely to continue for consumers, and that is a welcome news for the industry, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. The real estate industry certainly is celebrating, because low consumer home loan interest rates means more consumers are willing to buy, and already the consumer sentiment is towards buying this year. After the COVID, consumers have been buying. After RERA, more projects are there, and people are picking up completed projects. So as a result, a low interest rate regime is good news for the industry.
Yes. And the point that we're discussing on RERA, Jayashree, the point that you mentioned, that some of the RERA regulators have been very, very, very proactive, and you have seen results, and we are seeing results in those places. News came from Karnataka, where RERA almost completed 3 years. that there are about close to 3.3 lakh homes which are to be completed and delivered to home buyers. What is the kind of progress you see of RERA in Karnataka, and what can home buyers of Karnataka expect at this point of time?
If you take Karnataka, the two big cities, Bangalore and Mysore, we are
Mhm.
seeing much better. We have seen much better developers there than elsewhere. But what really happened was that the smaller developers, a lot of smaller developers across small towns. Karnataka is a highly
Yes. Yeah.
urbanized state. So what happens is that in Hubli, Dharwad, there are many small cities. We have seen a lot of small developers who have not delivered, and RERA is now putting pressure on them that they have to put up their quarterly reports and so on. See, Prasun, the thing is that what consumers must understand is that the problems are not resolved yet. We are on the way to resolution. There is a path that has been opened, but there 3.3 lakh houses still have to be delivered, and they're right. I appreciate the fact that the consumers are raising the issue,
Mm.
because it's not as though the problems have gone away. But the fact is that there is an authority to whom you can complain, and Karnataka RERA has been picking up issues.
Mm.
But issues are actually huge, of
Mm.
money, of execution capability, of
Mm.
sometimes even the registration is not possible because all the approvals are not there. So
Mm.
problems are very many, and consumers, I again urge the consumers, before you buy a project, please check for approvals, please check if it has a RERA registration, and these things are important if you want to see a completed project on time.
Mm. Right. Uh, 2020, in lot many ways, Jayashree, has also been an year of reforms in real estate, and we have seen quite a lot of progressive legislation coming our way. And one such legislation was also to uh, generate liquidity in the market, and that was in the form of alternate funds, or specifically REIT, which was Real Estate Investment Trust. And this was brought in about a couple of years ago with the thought to let real estate companies generate money through non-traditional sources, and take projects towards completion, or use it for expansion. And we have seen a successful REIT also happening in the market. Now the news comes that DLF, which is the one of the largest developers of the country, is planning to come out with a REIT in 2021.
Yeah.
Now this was a much celebrated and touted policy, and an instrument given in the hands of developers. Do you see many more such REITs coming into the market now that we are getting out of the pandemic woes? And how significant is the DLF one?
See, the first one that came, the Embassy REITs, then the second one, the Mindspace REITs. The DLF is the third one that's announced that it is coming up. We know that Blackstone is aggregating a lot of premium A grade office space. If we are not going to see a very large number of REITs, what we're going to see is the premium developers who have premium quality A grade office space. They are the ones who will now capitalize and raise resources. And DLF has clearly said this is the cyber city in Gurgaon, and they are going to use this money to bring down the debt. Now, that's a good practice. Developers need to understand that ballooning debt can bring down the best of them. And that, therefore, I think a lot of companies have started reducing debt, and it's a good thing. They have maintained their buildings. They have got a good quality tenants, and we are going to see that this instrument has performed very well in India.
Mm.
It is, after all, only premium A grade properties, commercial office properties, which are rented. 80% of them are rented. Only 20% can be under construction. So the SEBI guidelines are very stringent on this. So it's a great investment mechanism for the consumers. And the way it is going, we will see. I expect that there will be another 3-4 REITs that we will see in the course of announced in the course of the next few months.
Sure. And staying on this point, Jayashree, obviously, we do see through Swami Fund also a lot of liquidity coming into the market. So this whole effort that has been done over the past 1.5 years or so to ease the liquidity situation, how effective it has been, according to you, for the industry as a whole?
Actually, Prasun, I think what has happened, there has been funds that have come into the market, and the guys who have got their balance sheets right, the guys who got their business processes right,
Mm,
can have access to funds.
mm,
Even banks are lending them.
mm,
But what is actually pulling India down is that the banks have not done their due diligence in the past, and today the ghosts of the past are coming to haunt them.
mm,
As a result, the lending they are now holding back on lending. Even when the RBI says, when the government announces funds, the banks are not so forthcoming in lending because of the problems of the past.
mm,
I expect that all this will take another couple of years to resolve,
mm,
but the effort has been to put more and more liquidity into the system so that projects can go through. It's like re-establishing a virtuous cycle, and
mm.
I think we are on our way there. We haven't reached there yet.
Sure. The next few developments happened last week, Jayashree, in the area of property taxes. And while we have spoken about it during the shows, how things need to be simplified and how predictability needs to come in, how technology has to be used to ease a lot of these things and to increase compliance, of taxpayers. Now, some news came, wherein, for example, in South Delhi, the South Delhi Municipal Corporation is now proposing to hike property tax rates by 2 to 5% to make up for the lost revenue during the year. But in Haryana, we get to hear that the unpaid property tax dues are to the tune of close to about 2,000 crores of rupees. And in line with that, in Gurugram, the municipal corporation has started sealing properties for non-payment of taxes. So this entire thing of property taxes, given that consumers also coming out of pandemic challenges and a whole lot of other things, liquidity crunch has been there even at the end of individuals and so on and so forth. uh, how forthcoming have corporations been in terms of giving relief to consumers, and two, how much transparency or ease of paying taxes have now been built into the system so that consumers can comply better.
I think practically all over India, property taxes can be paid online. Okay, and this is a reform that happened about 5 years ago, and over a period of time, it has established itself. Paying taxes, if you are net savvy, is not a problem. And going by the fact that all of us are living a digital life or a virtual life, means that we are able to pay our taxes online.
Right.
Uh, will authorities reduce taxes or make give you tax breaks? I don't think so. Remember that every time your city is being sanitized, the health workers are checking, doing COVID checks and all that. The city is spending money, right? And when you spend money, you need to raise money as well.
Mm,
Unfortunately, our third tier of government, which is the city management, is a very weak entity right now.
mm,
Cities have always historically relied on states to give them doles, and
mm,
the states today are themselves short of money, or it is badly managed. So
mm,
it all comes down to this problem of finance to run the cities. If you run the city well, you can raise more resources, but
mm,
to raise more resources, you need to run the city well, and somewhere that cycle has to break and you have to start. So I think what will happen is, cities may raise taxes. Bangalore has raised its water taxes, power taxes, property taxes. They're putting cess on various things. Cities need money. They're desperate for money. But is this the way, squeezing the citizens, is this the way to raise more and more resources? I think they need to come up with alternates.
mm.
Have we come up with that? Not yet. But I think very soon citizens are going to revolt that even if you're running the city, I don't have so much money to give you. So
Yeah.
there will have to be an alternate to raising resources to run the city.
Mm. So rather than milking the existing cow, probably more people need to be brought into the tax net so that the base grows and you get more revenues that ways. I mean, we have also discussed in past, Jayashree, the entire issue of unauthorized colonies and what do you do with them, and a lot of these things are on urban land, which can generate a lot of revenue otherwise, right? But is there a comprehensive policy, do you think, in the offering or coming up nationwide as far as these illegal colonies are concerned, and therefore, and also to generate alternate revenue channels or revenue sources rather than just putting in taxes on citizens?
There can't be a national policy because every city functions on a different principle. So states and cities have to find their own equation. But I think what really needs to be done is we need to enhance the management of cities with the central schemes like Amrut and so on. At least to lay the water lines, pipelines, sewage lines, and even drainage pipes and things like that. There has been funds allocated from the center. This needs to be spent well so that the efficiency of the cities can go up. But that still doesn't mean that cities know how to raise money. Cities have, world over, cities have street furniture, which means that the poles can be used to raise resources. The buses can be used to raise resources. Every vehicle, commercial vehicle can be raised to used. Advertising is a big medium. Our cities have not done that efficiently, and soon they will have to look at alternate mediums to just milking the funds.
Yes, much is needed from an urban planning and town planning point of view, anyway, that we have been talking about.
And we've done a series of shows on this. In the last quarter, we've done a series of shows on water, power, drainage, sewerage. Where does it come from? How much should you charge? And we've got the best experts engaged with us. So I think this is a conversation that needs to be picked up and taken forward very soon.
Absolutely, viewers. And if you're interested in going through all those shows, log into MBTV and go through that. We will continue to bring in such meaningful shows and meaningful conversations for you so that your real estate journey becomes transparent and easy. Till then, keep watching MBTV. Thank you.
Thank you.